The temperature is 10 degrees Celsius above freezing. How would I represent that with a number? What number would that be? To indicate something that's really important here. Positive 10 or plus 10 degrees Celsius, which is the same thing you said. But so we're going to represent that with positive 10 degrees Celsius. If you say 10 degrees below, what's it going to be? Negative 10 Celsius. All right. So the key part here is the word above and below indicate if it's positive or negative. If I say depth of 5 meters, what integer would I use? What integer would represent a depth of 5 meters? Negative 5. Because that indicates say you're on the water, the surface would be 0. If you're at a depth, you're under the water. So negative 5 meters. And conversely, if I said an altitude of 500 meters, what am I writing? Positive 500. Okay. Okay. What if we do... Now we're going to switch to a sentence. So a bird rises from 20 meters to, I don't know, 35 meters. How high did it rise, I guess? 15. So you can kind of just do in your head. All right? But there is a formula. So if you want to know the change in height of something, it's final minus initial. Initial, N-I-T-I. I always forget how to spell initial.
A-L.
A-L.
I-N-I-T-I.
Yeah,
A-L.
there's 3 I's?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, final minus initial. So the final height is 35. The initial height is 25 or 20, which gives you 15 meters. Okay, so does that make sense? Okay. So you have a diver who jumps from a 5-meter cliff. and travels to a depth of 3 meters under the water. How far did he fall? Okay, what, I guess, how far did he? Yeah, we'll go fall. Travel is a better way to say it. Yeah. Fall. How far did he travel? So, if you do final minus initial, his final height is what? So let's read the question again. He jumps from 5 meters. He's up 5 meters high. He jumps. What's his final depth? His final depth is 3 meters, right? I know what you're all saying. You're all saying, I understand what you're saying. So his final depth is 3 meters. Is that a positive or a negative number? It's negative, right? So it's negative 3 meters. What's his initial height? 5 meters. Minus 5 meters. What's negative 3 minus 5? This is the stuff we did yesterday. Negative 8, right? If you do it on a number line, so remember the number lines. If we're at, there's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If we're at negative 3, 1, 2, 3. What does the negative sign tell you to do? Which way do you move? To the left, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 8. So you get negative 8. Why? So he traveled 8 meters. Why is the answer negative?
Because he traveled 3 meters below the depth of the water.
Yeah, because he fell basically, right? He went from here's the water, here's the cliff, ended up there. Negative 3 meters. So the negative in math, this is why the negatives are important, because they tell you when you take physics in grade 10 and 11, the negatives tell you the direction things move. Okay? All right. That's all I really want to do with that. We'll come back to that stuff later. Are there any questions about that? It's sort of intuitive, I think. Is it intuitive? Like, do you know what intuitive means? Like, you just think about it and you kind of know the answer. But in math, you have to have signs in front of things. Okay. I want to move on to BEDMAS today. So, order of operations. Okay. We talked a bit about BEDMAS yesterday. What do they mean? So I'll wait till you copy that down and then we'll go through it. Okay, what does the B stand for? Brackets. The E is the exponents. D, yeah, division. M, multiplication. And then the A and the S are addition and subtraction. Okay. They're grouped into pairs, right? How are they grouped? What do you group them together with? Like what? I don't know what to say. How am I saying this?
Like the order in which it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So
Brackets first, then exponents, then division, then multiplication.
does it matter within the group the order that you do things in? No. So we have them grouped as the brackets and exponents are always first, then division and multiplication, and then addition and subtraction. But within that group, it doesn't matter if you do brackets, then exponents, or exponents and brackets. And then division first, and then multiplication, or multiplication and division, and addition and subtraction can flip as well. Okay? So within the groups, it doesn't matter, but you always follow this order. B through S. Okay. So let's start with a couple of examples here. One. Negative 16. Okay. Negative 16 divided by negative 4 plus negative 8. What do we do first? Yep. You do the division because we have no brackets or exponents. Okay? Shh. So what's negative 16 divided by negative 4? 4, right? A negative divided by a negative is a positive. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So now I'm left with 4. What about the plus negative 8? What does that actually mean, a positive and a negative? It makes it a negative. So it actually turns into 4 minus 8. What's 4 minus 8? Negative 4. All right, negative 17 plus negative 3, all in brackets, divided by negative 5 minus 6. So what do we do first here? So the big square brackets? Yeah. Okay, so we have a big set of brackets with an operation inside. So we do that first. Negative 17 plus negative 3. What's negative? So what does this plus negative mean? That actually means subtract. Now, I'm going to write it out like every step. You don't have to. If you can do negative 17 plus negative 3, you know what to do. You can just do it in your head. But for here, I'm just going to write out the steps, okay? So negative 17 minus 3. What's negative 17 minus 3? negative 20, right? Because you're on the number line, you're at negative 17. We're taking away 3, so we're going left to negative 20. So now we have negative 20 divided by negative 5 minus 6. What do we do now?
You divide negative 20 by negative 5.
Yeah.
Negative.
So now we move down the list. We have a division. So we go negative 20 divided by negative 5 to get, what's a negative over a negative, or divided by a negative?
Positive.
So we get positive 4 minus 6 is negative 2. All right. Okay, I want to do one more example, and then I'll give you a couple practice things. Negative 3, bracket 2 minus 5, bracket 2 minus 8, bracket 2 to the power of 2. So what do we do first? Where do we start?
Since the entire thing is in brackets, we do
Okay, so we're going to start, since this whole thing's in brackets, we're starting in here, right? And then within there, we're going to do that one.
Yep.
Everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's 2 to the power of 2? 4. Because it means 2 times 2. You've done exponents, right?
Yeah.
Like ones like that, 2 to the power of 2. Okay. So I get 2 minus 5, 2 minus 8, and then that becomes a 4. All right, is there anything else in there that we should do? You want to multiply that into there? Okay, you can do that. You can, that's not wrong. As long as you multiply to both, right? What I would do is I would simplify that first, because that's a bracket within there, right? So if you're just looking at that, if I just gave you that equation, there's a set of brackets, right? So I would do what's in the brackets first. What's 2 minus 8? Negative 6, right? Does everybody agree with that? So 2 minus 8 is negative 6. And now we're still within those brackets. Now we can just multiply them. So all of that's being multiplied, right? Does everybody see that? So we have negative 3. What is negative 5 times negative 6? Positive 30, right? Negative 5 times negative 6 is positive 30. What's 30 times 4? You can use a calculator. 30 times 4.
120.
120. Is it positive or negative?
Positive. Positive.
Negative 5 times negative 6 is positive 30. Positive 30 times 4 is positive 120. So I get that. So we're still in the brackets. 2 plus 120 is 122. And then the final step. Yes. So then you go negative 3 times 122, which if you put it in your calculator is negative 366. How does that feel? Like away? Okay. Let's do some practice. So record. Okay. So now, what's the difference between this and what we were dealing with before? It's essentially a fraction, right? Okay. When you have something that looks like this, it's essentially the same as when you see something over something else. What you can do, if they're not drawn in, it's really like there's brackets around the top and brackets around the bottom, i.e., do all of the top first, then do all of the bottom, and then divide at the end. Okay? So if we just look at the top of this one, what do I do first? I'm just looking at this bit here. The brackets. So negative 9 plus 5. What is negative 9 plus 5? Negative 4, right? If you're on the number, I need a number line up here. Negative, I should draw one up here. Boom. 0. Negative 9. If we're adding, we're going which way? To the right. You go 5 units to the right, you end up at negative 4. So negative 9 plus 5 is negative 4. So I get plus 7 times negative 4 over. You can do the bottom as well. You just don't divide them yet. So I can now do the brackets in the bottom. What is 2 minus 3? Negative 1. What is 2 plus 3? Everybody okay with what I just did? That's okay? I didn't lose anybody. This is important. Okay. 4 times negative. Now the top, okay, remember? It's all multiplication and there's an addition, but you do addition after multiplication, right? 4 times negative 3. What's that? Negative 12, right? A positive times a negative is negative. 4 times 3 is 12. So I get negative 12. 7 times negative 4. Minus 28. I don't know who said that. You? All right. Perfect. Over. Negative 1 times 5.
Where did you get the multiplication from 7 and minus 4?
I combined negative 9 plus 5 to get minus 4.
No, between 7 and 4.
Oh, yeah. If it's numbered beside a bracket, it means multiplication. Yeah. Negative 1 times 5. Negative 5. Right? Okay. Now what do I do? Remember, when you have it written like this, it's like there are brackets like this. So I can carry those brackets through. You don't have to draw them, but just so you see it. What do I do now? You do the top. What's negative 12 minus 28?
40.
Negative 40, right? Think about, again, number line. Really need a big number line in this class. Negative 12. So they're good? Yeah. If I'm subtracting, I'm going to the left, right? And I'm subtracting 28. So I get to negative 40. Okay? So now I have negative 40 over negative 5. What's a negative divided by a negative?
Positive.
What's 40 divided by 5?
8.
8. The answer is 8. Yes?
Further like on the 12, negative 12 minus 8, could you do the add the opposite sign?
Yep. So you could go plus negative 28. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same thing. Yeah. All right. Is that okay? All right. Let's try one more. Okay. Now we have two sets, but that's okay because this is a subtraction sign and you always do that stuff last, right? So we just deal with this one, then we'll deal with this one, and then we'll munch them together at the end. All right. And remember, if you have stuff on the top and the bottom, if you want, just draw in the brackets. Be like, oh, that's bracketed, that's bracketed, that's bracketed, that's bracketed. You can do that. You don't have to do that, but if that helps, do it. Okay, the one on the left, 15 minus 17. Negative 2. And then you can do the bottom. What's 20 minus 18? Minus. Now we're doing this stuff. In this one, what do I have to do first? 16 minus 12 because it's within brackets, right? What's 16 minus 12?
4.
4. So now I've got negative 4 times 4. That's that one. 100 minus 98? Those. Remember, I'll draw in all the brackets. Okay. Everybody with me?
Yes.
Okay. We can do this. A negative divided by a positive is negative. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and because it's negative, right? So that whole thing becomes negative 1. Minus, now we got to deal with this thing. What do I have to do here first?
Multiply the negative 4 by the 4.
We're going to do the tops. Negative 4 times 4 is?
Negative 16.
What do I do next?
Negative 16 divided by 2. Yeah.
Clear this up, because this is gross. Do you like fractions?
Yes.
If you like them, fine. Do it your way. But most people don't like them. So clear a fraction if you can. Everything we're doing right now, you'll be able to clear a fraction. Tomorrow, I think tomorrow, or maybe on Monday for sure, we're going to deal with fractions that won't go away. Okay, like they won't give you a whole number. All right. So negative 16 divided by 2 is? Negative 8. Thank you. So now I have negative 1 minus negative 8. Do we like that double negative? What does it become? Positive, right? Negative 1 plus 8 is? 7. It's 8 minus 1. Negative 1. Is that okay? Okay, last thing for today. Here we go. Make that a true expression by putting brackets in. That says times 2. So, I have to make, as it's written, okay, what would you do first? Ignore the 7. As it's written, what would you do first? You would do multiplication. So you go negative 4 times 2, which is negative 8. And then it's like 1 plus 7 minus 8. But that does not equal 7. You have to put brackets in to make this a true statement. Where do I put the brackets is what I'm asking you. And silence. Yep.
Put 7 minus 4 in brackets.
7 minus 4 in brackets. So you want to go like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try it. So if we put the brackets around the 7 minus 4, that means we do them first. What's 7 minus 4?
3.
So now I get 1 plus 3 times 2. So now what do I do?
Then you multiply 3 times 2.
You do the multiplication. 3 times 2 is?
6.
What's 1 plus 6?
7.
Hey, we did it. Okay? So, what I would like you, is there any questions about that? So first of all, when you have stuff that looks like fractions, like these ones, deal with the whole top, simplify that as far as you can, then deal with the whole bottom, simplify that as far as you can, and then do the division at the end. If there's 2 fractions, for right now it'll always work out that it's nice and simple. Again, deal with the top, deal with the bottom, simplify them, and then combine at the end. All right? The questions I want you to do are, if we go back to that super fun page, number 5 and 6. All of them. Okay, how about number 5? How about this? Number 5, ABC. Okay? And number 6, A, C, and E. How's that?